Okay.
And it will be through Canvas, and it will be multiple choice.
Okay.
Yes, good question. So Henry, why don't you go ahead and solve each of these inequalities?
Okay. So add the 4 on both sides.
Perfect. Of both equations?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Plus 4 plus 4. X is greater than or equal to negative. Okay, good. And then I want us to go ahead and draw out this number line. Okay, so I'm going to have a point at negative 6, a point at 14, and what type of dot will I have at negative 6?
Open.
Are you sure? Look at the inequality.
Oh, a close.
Yeah, because it's less than or greater than or equal to. And then it's going to move to the left. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. It's greater than or equal to, so it should move to the right. Okay. And then with the other one, I'm going to have closed, and it's less than or equal to, so it's moving to the left. So I'm going to end up, instead of using these arrows, I can just draw a bar straight between those guys. Okay. What questions do you guys have about that problem? Okay, thank you for your help, Henry. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so unless somebody speaks up and wants to do another inequality example, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Are there any questions on the inequalities?
I got a question. So every time we solve a problem like that, it's gonna be with we will have to do a number line on the side, or that is just optional.
I would prefer that. That would be really helpful. Yeah.
Okay.
On your test, it will be multiple choice. You don't have to draw anything, obviously, but on your review, to get full credit, I need you to show work, and so I would appreciate it if you had the number line. Right.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so 1.4 is our applications of absolute value functions. I want to go ahead and do 15 together because in 15 there's a typo that I want to fix. Okay, so in number 15, it says Folgers Coffee Packing Plant aims for all the cans of coffee to weigh 62 ounces. Okay, once the cans are weighed, they can only differ by 1.4 ounces. Then it says write an inequality. This needs to be an equation, not an inequality. Okay, so we're writing an equation. So for number 15, write, oops. Let me move this up so you guys can see. Not the inequality. Okay, so make sure you fix that when you go through and do this on your own. All right, so we're writing an equation to represent the situation, and it says list the minimum and maximum weights that the cans can be to go to the store to be sold. Okay, so Yvonne, are you here?
Yes.
Okay, so do you remember how to find, so when we're doing our applications, there were two important things. We needed the average, I can spell correctly, and the variance to write one of these equations. Do you remember how we find the average?
No.
So the average was the max plus the min over 2, and it was our ideal amount. Okay, so this was the ideal amount. Okay, and the variance was found by taking the max and subtracting the average, or by taking the average and subtracting the min. And this was how much we were willing to be wrong. Okay. Now that we've kind of talked about that, and I'll go ahead and put we had x minus our average. Absolute value of that is equal to the variance. Okay. How do you think we're going to fill in this equation to represent this situation? Well, I don't want it quite that big, but let me make this a little bigger so maybe you can see a little better. Okay, so what was the ideal weight for a can of coffee?
62.
62? Yeah, so that's going to go in our average spot. So we're going to have the absolute value of x minus 62. And then how much can it change by? How much can it vary by?
1.4.
Yeah, 1.4. So this is the equation that they're looking for. Okay, and then it asks us to list the maximum and minimum weight the cans can be. To do this, we solve the equation. So to solve an absolute value equation, Ibon, what two equations am I going to split this one into? You remember?
Positive, negative?
Yeah, one with a positive variance and one with a negative. So x minus 62 equals 1.4, and x minus 62 equals negative 1.4. Now, how am I going to solve each of these, Yvonne?
You
Add what?
62.
Yeah, 62. Okay, this is going to be our max because it's positive, and this is going to be our min because we had a negative. 1.4 plus 62 is going to give me, I'm sorry, I'm squeezing it in down here. X equals 63.4. And then 62 minus 1.4 over here is going to give me X equals 60.6. Okay, so 63.4 is going to be my maximum value that I can have in the store. And 60.6 is going to be the minimum value I can have in the store, the minimum weight. And these were in ounces. Okay, I feel like there are probably a lot of questions about this particular problem. What questions do you guys have? Okay, we did this a while ago. The applications was a while ago, so I understand if you've forgotten a few things. We put the main important things. Here we have the average, the variance, and our equation. Okay, those are the most important things. And then we've demonstrated how to solve for the max and min values. Are there any other questions? Okay, if there are no other questions, I would be happy to do another one of these if you guys feel like you're going to struggle with it. Is there anybody in that situation? Okay, if that's the case, then we will go ahead and do the next section. Okay, so I'm going to flip my paper over. Okay, so 1.5 is going to be about inverses. Okay, so I want to do, I think, 2 of these, even though there's only, well, there's a bunch of them. Okay, I want to do 2 of these. I want to do the first one, and then any one of the next ones will be fine. So this is 1.5. And I want to do, let's see, they renumber here. So this is number 1 of 1.5. Okay. So it says find the coordinates of the inverse. So it gives us a bunch of point values in a set. Okay, so it gives us a set of point values. we need to find a set of point values for the inverse. So actually, Jordan, are you here now? Jordan Warren?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, okay, so can you help me figure out what values should be in my point set for my inverse function? So here are my original ones. How do I get the inverse points?
A should be 0, 3.
Good. 0, 3.
B should be 8, -2.
Good.
C should be 7 and 1.
Perfect.
And D should be -6, -4.
Perfect. Thank you, Jordan.
You're welcome.
Excellent. Okay, so when we find the inverse of a set of points, we're just flipping all the points. Okay. I didn't write the A, B, C, D. If you really want to, you can, but that's not necessary. The point is that we flip all the coordinates. Okay, so good job. All right. Now I'm going to call in somebody and I want you to pick the most difficult looking one. Jason, could you send me the number of the one that looks most difficult for you via Remind? And then I'll call in somebody else to help me solve it. Okay, we're starting to run out of time and Jason's not answering. So Jamie, are you here? Jamie?
Yeah, but my screen froze, so I can't see.
Oh no. Okay, well, I'm just gonna pick one that I think you guys would probably think was hard. Jamie, if at some point your screen unfreezes, let me know, and you can help me with it. So let's do number 5. Okay. So we're given that g of x is equal to 2 times the square root of x minus 3 plus 5. Okay. And so we're asked to find the inverse for each function. Okay, so remember that we're going through this in steps. And step 1 is to replace the g of x with y. Let's see. Regina, are you here? Regina? Oh, cutting it close on time. Daisy?
Yes.
Okay, so do you remember what step 2 is?
No.
So we're gonna flip something, flip 2 variables. What are we gonna flip? So we have y and x. So we're gonna make the y and x and the x and y.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna have x equals 2 times the square root of y minus 3 plus 5. And then do you remember what step 3 is?
Are you gonna no, I forgot.
Okay, so we're gonna solve for y. So what's the first thing I can move to get all of this stuff away from y?
The 2.
You could do the 2. That's gonna run into like fraction issues. You're gonna have x over 2 and then 5 over 2. What's something a little nicer you could move?
5.
Yeah, so we're gonna subtract 5 from both sides. So x minus 5 is equal to 2 times the square root of y minus 3. Now we should probably move the 2. So what do I do to get rid of that?
Divide.
Yep. Okay. So we're going to have x minus 5 over 2 is equal to the square root of y minus 3. And how do I get rid of the square root, Daisy?
You're gonna square it.
Yeah, good. Square it. Okay. And I end up with x minus 5 over 2 quantity squared equals y minus 3. What's the very, very last step?